Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It is turn 30. Jump into things. Okay, so we have a couple of items in from Arithia. Scutata Volturnus, 2 Boots of the Messenger. Awesome. We have completed Conjuration 2 on our way up to Conjuration 3. We've got a couple of different thrones here. The Throne of Law, the Throne of Stability, and the Throne of the Second Age. Let's go ahead and check those out because we know I have a bad habit of those. Throne of the Second Age, Throne of Law, and Throne of Stability. So Throne of the Second Age, Dominion plus, or Dominion spread by 2, and Blessed troops get +1 strength. Okay. Nothing crazy. Okay. And then we have the Throne of Stability, Magic Resistance, and Dom Spread 1. And then Law, Dom Spread 1. Also increases Order. Did the others do anything? The Law increases Order, but also spreads Dom 1 and gets Order +1. I wonder if this is just attached to this, or if these are separate effects. If the sight, the base sight, always increases order. I think that's what it is. I think the base sight always increases order, and then in that province, right? Specifically in that province, it increases order in that province, and then if you claim it, you get the Dom +1, or order in your Dominion +1. Cool. Alright, back to what we were doing. We witness a battle between Satis and Marverni in Vician Forest. Watch that. Oh, okay, so this is Satis's god, the real Balin, the Emperor of the Sands. A very chunky boy. Base regeneration, awe, blunt resistance, shock resistance, fire resistance, susceptibility to cold, poison resistance. Has trample, can't pass rivers, spread, or has fate weaving, has recuperation, has a supply bonus, spirit sight. This guy has a lot going on. Fortune teller, philosopher, bringer of fortune, disease resistance, sloth power, spell singer, and a whole shit ton of experience. It's kind of crazy how much experience he has and how crap his stats still are. That's pretty funny. And then he is up against Weird, a little, looks like a little amount of PD, and then some Wickermen and a Sequani Stargazer. Well, let's watch what happens. The Sequani Stargazer is casting Fated Druids, which gives Twist Fate, which is kind of cool. And it looks like he's just going to cast that repeatedly. While Balin is over here buffing himself. Personal regeneration. Foreskin. That's a weird one. Okay. Astral Shield. I like the eyes that pop every single time. Resist magic. That feels like kind of weird to me. It feels like if you were worried about magic, you should probably do resist magic first. Personal luck. And trample. And eats those real quick. But here's the problem. The Wickermen are size 6. So he can't trample them. And as we said earlier, right, he's got some shite stats. He only has 1 attack. A tail sweep that for an attack value of 11 for 14 non-magic damage. That's a problem. That's a real big problem. As we can see, because these Wickermen aren't dying. Now, the archers, you know, I guess they run out of ammunition, they run in battle, they die. But the Wickermen don't, and they're just punching away at this guy. The problem is he's got very high protection. They've got, you know, decent-ish damage, but really shitty attack value. I guess he has really shitty defense value. So there's that. But you know, with a combination of awe, resistances, they're doing blunt damage, right? So he's cutting their damage. This is just a big wet noodle fight, basically, all over. But I think ultimately Very strange, right? Like, oh, that's the other problem, right? Like, he's got a massive amount of HP, right? But because he is outside of his dominion, right? He has a massive dominion penalty to his HP. So his max, he has 280 maximum HP, or 280 HP here, but his current max hit points are 71, which means he's not regenerating anything. You can't regenerate past your max hit points. So this is one of those very weird scenarios where this guy should be probably still winning this fight through sheer regeneration, but by the time he gets to the point to where he can regenerate, right, it's gonna be likely, I would assume, that by the time he gets to that point, he's gonna rout. Either that or everyone's gonna rout, and he's gonna make it off the field first. Because they're, closer to his side than they are to the far side. Oh my god, yeah, this is absurd. They're starting to plug away and actually do some damage though now. He's got a chest wound. He's fatiguing out, that's part of the issue. So every time he hits 100 fatigue, they just start wailing on him. This guy has fire shield? Wow. Maybe that's the reason why, is because this guy has fire shield. How do you get fire shield on himself? That seems so strange. Did he get... Yeah, I have no idea how this Wicker Man ended up with fire shield. Fate of the Druids, just a bunch. Attacks with Flame Strike, Flame Strike, Flame Strike. Just all of a sudden, this guy just has Flame Strike instead. I have no idea what happened there. I have no, or I guess maybe one of the fate. We might have to look up Fate of the Druids. I don't. Maybe that that did like a random spawn chance or something like that to do this to them. I have no idea. This is crazy. Oh my goodness, yeah, he morale breaks. That's, I guarantee, well, I say I guarantee, it might not be, but I feel like that might have been a combination of like the hit back from the fire shield and the flame strike damage. Wow, it chased this guy from the field. I have no idea what happened there. How the fuck did that guy get flame strike? That's crazy. Alright, anyways, that was an interesting fight. We searched in Esquania for magic sites, didn't find anything. We got a proclamation from Old Atlantis. Yakthub is now a prophet. And then we have Morale, the commander. Cool. Got a couple of battles. We'll save ours for last. Getting attacked by Dom Daniel. So this is some Gulams, just slave infantry. More Gulams over here, but also Timariots. Decent cavalry, but very basic. Got some Jin warriors here in the back. We've got a Al Qasim, pretty good Magus, just walking around. And then a sorcerer, also pretty good, just walking around. It's up against basically just some PD, so there's nothing really happening here. Summer Rain. Interesting. Pretty much it. Easy peasy. Nothing happens there. And then we have Ermor attacking Finiscandia in Agonor. And this is pretty much nothing. Oof. Doing what they could, dust to dust. But, I mean, that's it. Whoa, hold up. The archers didn't go down. That's funny. They rout. That's crazy. I'd be pissed. I am pissed. So he dust to dust them, right? But he's got Solus up here. Guess there's like a ghoul jumping in as well. But they're like really bad, and they just don't really win. How does that happen? Oh, did this guy just get plinked? I don't know, he's at full HP. I don't know how this guy routs with 18 morale at full HP against some archers. And then this guy routs too. Full HP, 30 morale, routing against whatever. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Wow. I mean, this is whatever. Ermor doesn't give a shit about a loss like this. Especially not since Finoscandia is AI, but that's kind of funny. Alright, anyways, moving on to our battles, which aren't actually battles, right? We're not fighting. We're just seeing what, you know, they're hitting our provinces. We're seeing what they have. So in Ablak, a raid against us is a tidy little force, and we can immediately see right off the bat that they have come loaded for bear. These are the sages that we were talking about, and then these are the maguses that we were talking about, and that is a problem. And this is a problem too. So gonna watch what's going on. They communion up. They've got a bunch of the soldier priests, right? Of course. Little on the wings scenario. They've got some Orionde warriors on the wings as well. I actually need to double check that. I wasn't really paying attention to form. So we've got communions coming up. And we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out. So we've got wooden warriors coming out. Wooden warriors jacks up the protection of the soldier priests that get hit. We've got Arc coming out. Was that? And Arc is... so I think this has a random chance to cause blindness, disease, or death on non-sacred units. We get some Legions of Steel coming out. We get Divine Wrath, which I'm not sure what that is. And yeah, we get some more wooden warriors, and then we see the Soul Slays coming out. So, yay. No Soul Slay is in the mix. And that gives us our answer on what some of our options are. Okay. It also tells us, right, we've got some fucking issues to deal with some of these fucking soldiers. This is going to be a tough fight. We might not win. We very well might not win. Okay. So that was the force in Ablak. 126, mostly soldier priests, some Orionde warriors, a couple of crossbows and archers, not really much to pay attention to. Abbot, sages, and maguses. One of the things that I would note, right, is the amount of fire gems that this particular person has, right, and does not use. It does not seem as if we don't trigger fire gem usage, so this guy doesn't go through any of these gems. I would assume that this is for probably fire elementals. I'm not really sure what else they might be at this point. But if that's the case, right, he's throwing up wooden warriors, he's causing his people to be susceptible to fire. which is somewhat concerning, I would think. It's possible that the fire gems are for something else, but I don't know what they would be. I wanted to check this. Okay, so he is using all 9 of his abbot sages as communion slaves for his masters, for his maguses. If we check, he's got 9 sages here, which is, he's basically overcapping his communion just in case. So 8 gets you a +3. So I do this a lot too, right? I'll go like 1 or 2 over just in case I lose 1 or 2 to like a random snipe or something like that. That way your communion is still as strong as you're wanting it to be. So that means he's got a lot of firepower, or I mean he's got high levels, right? Because so that's going to be a +3 to these maguses, which are already 2s. So they're going to be Astral 3, but I mean, no, you only need to be Astral 3 to be doing Soul Slays. This is kind of maybe a little overkill. We'll see. But this is a lot. This is dangerous. This is a big problem for us. And then we've got Smacia. Fuck. All right. So, and we'll get to this, but this is a very large army. A lot of soldier priests, and kind of worse, I think, a lot of Gog Reavers. Very strong, and then a shit ton of sages and a fair amount of maguses. So let's check and see if he has any gems on these maguses. Yeah, so on this this one, he has some fire gems. I'm not sure what his intention is with those fire gems, but I would assume it's wooden warriors right in the center of that fucking group. That's big deals. Wooden warriors is gonna hurt us a whole lot. Divine Wrath, Divine Channeling, bunch of Soul Slay coming out, a bunch of Soul Slay. And then a bunch of buffs, honestly, like Body Ethereals, etc. Let's check real quick what we've got. We have 13 slaves here. So again, he's using all of his sages as slaves. Doesn't look like he has his Magog bitch mother in the communion. So he's not got blood slaves to put her in as a Sabbath. That's interesting. And there's a whole lot of units. Okay. So this is 344 units here in Smacia. 16 sages. So not all of them in the communion, but a fair amount of them. A bunch of maguses, a couple of bitch mothers, a bunch of Gog Reavers, a bunch of soldier priests. This is too much. This is absolutely too much for what we have in Smacia. Made the wrong choice. Should have pulled out of Smacia last turn. So that is interesting, right? So we're going to lose that army in Smacia. It happens. But now we know kind of like what we're up against. We made the wrong choice. We made the greedy choice by staying in Smacia. And we may pay the ultimate price for that in the long run. But I think, I don't think it's over yet. I think we have, responses to make, and we'll see how it goes. So, let's look through some other things. Events, gold in Nidian range, and +1 order. Cool. And then we lose some Dominion, gain some Sloth, and lose some province resources in Talito. Uncool. The dead rise and march to the Lord that sits upon the Throne of Bones. Cool. And then we have an event, we see an event in Blue Moss Forest where Man gets hit. So Man has a group of Knights of Avalon and some other units here. Trying to deal with some stuff. Topagog's over here casting Power of the Spheres. Really interesting. There's a whole shit ton of knights. I will say that. They deal a lot of damage, but then they get hit by the Avalons. The Knights of Avalon. And it's a very weird scenario. It's the Knights of Avalon basically are able to mulch the regular knights. And it's just a weird situation where, fortunately, the Indie Knights break before the Knights of Avalon break. But I imagine it wasn't. I imagine it was pretty close. Yeah, lost most of the PD here. The Knights of Avalon did fucking work. They are a strong unit. Entrance to the fortification in Smacia is breached, obviously, but the one in Ablak is actually, you know, we only took a minor amount of damage. Bitch Tits, the goddess of old Oceania, is permanently vanquished, and let's actually take a look at Pretenders real quick, because there's been a lot of change. Is AI. In fact, we'll take a look at here in a second, but things do not go well. So has gone AI. This is Oceania. No, this is Old Atlantis has gone AI. This is Old Oceania, now defeated. That's 3 down. This is Joman. That's 4 down. Bogarus, 5 down. This is Nahulo is 6 down. Zion is 7 down. Finascandia is 8 down. And Venetia is 9 down. So 9 people down already in this game. 9 out of 74. Still plenty to go. And we might not be on the list for much longer ourselves. Let's talk about what's going on this turn. So we are going to lose in Smacia. There is very little that we could do. We could try a big rescue attempt. We could hurl our bear in. We could hurl a Wuya in. We could hurl 2 Wuyas in, actually. And I considered that concept. I honestly thought about doing that, about sending in the, attacking, sending in the bear and the 2 additional Wuyas, and hopefully, hoping that we can weather the soul slays that come from that. I just don't think it's a sound idea, right? I'm willing to take a lot of risks. That doesn't seem like a risk. That seems like guaranteeing that we lose our god and 2 Wuyas along with the army of Smacia. Is losing at Smacia going to fuck us over? Maybe in the long run. It's very possible. But it's also a scenario of, okay, he takes Smacia, he hurts us quite a bit by killing the army there, but we have other armies, right? We have this army in Zaburia. We have more forces gathering in Chaco. We have Ablak, etc. And we have more forces over here at High Peaks gathering as well, right? So trying to rescue everyone at Smacia and getting our god killed, getting multiple Wuyas killed, seems like a bad idea. So what are we going to do instead? We're going to fight in Smacia, obviously. The fortification is breached. So we're going to do what we can. And actually, we're going to lose some gear. I have put gear on this Wuya, and it's probably not a worthwhile idea. This Wuya is more than likely going to get sniped from a Soul Slay, which means we're just losing this gear. However, 19 magic resistance is pretty good, and there's the chance that he doesn't get instantly targeted by Soul Slay. Unlikely, but there's the chance. So we're going to play around with this and we're going to see how it goes. What are we doing? We're doing classic hold the fort shenanigans. So we are going to put a whole... We've got our fucking heavy infantry on hold and attack, right? Right up in the mix of things. Hoping to plug that gap, right? The gap in the fort. Same thing with our Chacon Elite Warriors. We've got archers set to fire. And then we've got a decent sized communion that's gonna sit here and mind burn. And it's not gonna be enough. We are going to mind burn a fair amount. Hopefully, we'll kill... I think my goal here, we've got, what, 112 units? I would like to kill 50-ish units from End. I don't think we will, though, because I don't think we're prepared to. With the amount of things like Wooden Warriors and other stuff coming out, I don't think we're actually going to succeed, especially since we don't have any, like, Katsinas or anything like that here. So that is kind of where the Wuya does come into play. If we are really fucking lucky, right? If we are really fucking lucky, the Wuya could, in theory, not get Soul Slayed, and then get with the you know, combination of being blessed, having Iron Skin, Temper Armor, Flying Shield, Regeneration, etc., etc. It's possible that the Wuya could get in there and cause some damage and eventually rout the army. Super duper duper duperty 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 super duper duper unlikely. It's like a 0.03% chance or some dumb shit, right? Like super duper low. But we've got actually a lot of gear, and you might notice, like, this is gear, but none of this is super special gear, right? So, you know, we're not really risking terribly much on this concept. We are taking other risks that are way more significant, right? So again, we're gonna lose this army. The hope is that we get, you know, 50 plus kills. I actually don't think that we will. I think we will do very poorly here, and all of these people are gonna get annihilated. Is what it is. Over in Ablak, we are also breaking siege. I think we have a significantly better chance in Ablak, but this is a risk, right? Part of the reason why it's a risk is because it's going to take him a long fucking time to break down the walls in Ablak. We have quite a bit of siege defense comparatively, but that says something. If it's going to take him that long to break down the walls, then our army is comparable. So, very similar scenario, but this time we have Katsinas, and that matters, right? Like, Katsinas are very strong, they hit very hard, we should be doing good with them. And we've got more other options here in Ablak as well. So, we're attacking, we've got, again, another large communion. Most of what that communion can do is mind burn, which is not super impressive, but is going to be somewhat useful, right? And then another thing that this army has that the other army does not have is create flaming missiles. We have a host of sun priests here that are stationed near the archers, and they can put flaming missiles on a number of the archers, a small cluster of the archers, and then I think it's like 9 at a time if it hits the boxes correctly, right? We could actually probably do better if we boxed up, but I'm not worried about it. We should be fine, right? We have 9 scripted casts of create flaming missiles. So create flaming missiles adds an extra 8 armor-piercing fire damage, and this matters, right? Obviously, they've got a lot of shields, and that's a problem. But it's armor-piercing fire damage, and if they're casting Wooden Warriors, they're going to be susceptible to fire, so this is actually going to do way more damage when we get hits with it. So the hope is that that's going to do a fair chunk of damage. And fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. We've also got, again, this is another potential problem. They've got Soul Slay online. They could target my Wuyas immediately and snipe my Wuyas. We have been kind of anticipating this, making a couple of Lodestone amulets. I say a couple, we're making a couple now. We only made one previously. So this Wuya, because I think this Wuya, or this army has a significantly higher chance of winning, this Wuya is casting, or has a Lodestone amulet instead of a Pearl, because I'm trying to keep him alive from the Soul Slice. So +2 on his magic resistance. And then he's just got other gear. Again, you can notice it's not super impressive gear because I'm concerned he's going to get Soul Slate. So, he's also doing, Divine Blessing, Prayer of Earth, Iron Skin, etc., etc. And then this Hmong 3 is also buffing himself, has an Enchanted Spear, because again, just giving a Hmong Katsina an Enchanted Spear and letting them buff themselves, they become somewhat decent combatants. Not nearly as good as a Wuya, but they can thug it up. They're fun, so we've got that going on. There is a chance that we lose this badly, and if we do, that's gonna suck. But I think we have a significantly better chance here in Ablak. Obviously, like we have no chance in Smacia. Or like a 0.03 chance in Smacia. I think we've got like a 60% chance here in Ablak. I think the Katsinas are really, really going to do well. I just don't know that we have enough of them, is the problem. The main target that we're up against is the Ind Soldier, right? And the Ind Soldiers, one of their big things is they have a fair number of defense, but we have 13 attack on our Katsina Warriors, but we have got +4 from our Bless, so we're going to be swinging at mostly equal, and if we hit, we'll probably kill, even through, well, I say that, if we're fighting against Wooden Warriors, then it's rolls, right? But if we're not fighting against Wooden Warriors, then a hit's probably going to be a kill. Anyways, that's what's going on in Smacia and Ablak. In other locations, we're doing other things. We are raiding with Wuya 4. We're taking back Traban, and then we're probably going to go raiding. And then over in Zaburia, we're raiding with Wuya 3. So Wuya 3 is going to go jump into Ashington. And has a very simple script. Blessing, Iron Skin, Moss Body, Prayer of Earth, Temper Armor. And is gonna... So the plan is to start raiding into the center of Ind and, try to do something about that. Our raiding game should be okay. Not great, but okay. Comparatively. But it's whether or not we can win a battle is the problem. And so that's the secondary thing, right? So we've got Smacia, which we're definitely losing. Ablak, which I think we're winning. I hope we're winning, right? And then we're actually moving Zaburia, the army from Zaburia, towards Chaco. Because we're going to lose in Smacia. We're going to need to reinforce our heartland, right? So we're moving the army from Zaburia towards Chaco, where, of course, we have even more Katsina warriors... and are producing more every single turn. We've got 34 here in Zaburia, so it's going to take us 2 turns to get over there, so that's going to be another 6. So we'll have 18 here in Chaco, plus the 34 in Zaburia. We're looking at, what is that, 52? So we'll have a much larger force to fight with against Ind. Plus some other things, right? We're also going to have a larger communion. We're bringing in individuals from Northia. We're bringing in individuals from Assad. We're going to continue to be producing here in Chaco, probably Chaco and Star Priests every turn. And so a few turns from now, we should have a sizable army in Chaco to face off against the sizable army in Smacia, which this turn, they'll take Smacia. Next turn, they'll probably hit a couple of locations. Maybe they go for Temiglia. Maybe they kind of like waste some time going for Temiglia. I don't really care about that. That's perfectly fine. Over here in Ahai Peaks, right, we have We have way less of a mage force here, but we've got a decent amount of supplies and resources here. So every turn we are pushing out a fair number of people. Bodies, basically just bodies, heavy infantry to be in front of Chaco and archers, which isn't a great matchup, honestly. Like, heavy infantry aren't going to do great against Ind, and archers aren't going to do great against Ind, but it's kind of what we have. So, what else are we doing? Still a little bit of site searching. Recruiting everywhere. Recruiting everywhere we can. Star priests. We're actually probably going to need to put, again, Chaco and Sun priests are going to be somewhat useful for flaming arrows, basically. So we need to have a couple of those here or there. We are actually attempting to buy some mercenaries, but I'm not really trying hard to get these. We had a lot of extra income this turn because we couldn't recruit in Smacia or in an Ablak, and I didn't want to try fortifying or doing anything in Temiglia. So we're recruiting everywhere else, but thanks to our low supplies and low resources, we can't really recruit much compared to our money. Again, if I could go back and test things further, I would have spent more time testing early to mid game rather than just expansion, because I think the scales that we ended up taking are really, really bad for Chaco. But that being said, it is what it is. We're doing what we can with what we have. So, research-wise, we are not going to be completing Conjuration 3 this turn. We're going to be very close, but we're moving too many mages, battling with too many mages, etc., to actually finish. But that's fine. We don't need anything from here immediately. I am very interested in getting Summon Bears out, right? Because I do think Summon Bears would be pretty useful. But we'll get those in a turn or two, and it should be fun. Trying to think of if there's anything else to really talk about. Oh, I want to talk about this, right? Apparently on their way out, destroyed their capital? Fucking wow. I don't like playing against those types of players. You guys have seen me go ham on this before, like in the Pokemon series. Yeah, it's a war game. I get it. It's a war game. We're playing at war, right? To defeat the enemy, you know, sometimes you have to use scorched earth tactics, right? And if it gives you the victory, it gives you the victory. It's a war game, right? But it's also a game. There's a very key part of that. It's a fucking game, right? And a tactic like this, that's not to defeat the enemy, right? That's not, oh, this is a hard choice. I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it because it's going to give me an edge against my enemy. It's going to let me beat them in the long run because it's starving them for resources. Yeah, that's not what this is. This is spite. This is spite. This is, you know, this is the ruler of a kingdom. Their armies are defeated in the field, so he orders his capital's garrison to torch the capital in response. Be like, fuck you, you piece of shit. It's such an asinine thing. Like, it's I don't like it because it's an asshole thing to do, right? It's a poor sportsmanship thing to do, and it also it rubs me wrong from like a historical perspective, right? People weren't in the habit of being like, oh, well, you know, you defeated me in the field, but you'll never take my capital, burn it! Right? No, that didn't happen. There may be isolated events, but very, very, very fucking rarely. And that's just infuriating. That's just like, what? No. We raise your capital, not the other way around. Stop that. What are you doing? That's not how that works. Oh my goodness. Anyways, okay, so random tangent. It sets me off. To be like, to go out to lose, we all lose. We're all gonna lose, right? No one wins every game. Hell, most of us don't win most games, right? That's okay. But if your response when you lose is to fucking raise your capital and go AI, I mean, go AI, sure, fine, whatever. You don't have anything left. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But raise your capital, that's an asshole move. Whatever. All right. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about this turn. We're gonna take a heavy loss here in Smacia. We might lose in Ablak. I hope we don't. I don't think we should, right? But we might. We might. I have underestimated things like this before, right? And if we're gonna lose in Smacia, when we lose in Smacia, that should be okay, right? If we lose in Ablak too, then that's probably bad. We're probably fucked at that point, and it's just gonna be like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do, right? But if we win in Ablak, we should have a decent opportunity to fight against Ind by building up an army in Chaco and facing off against Ind in the Heartlands, and hopefully hitting a couple of research points. You might notice after we hit Conjuration 3, we're going to run to Thaumaturgy 3. This is for a very specific reason. It does get us... oh, it doesn't. What? Oh, Soulslay is Conjuration 5. Really? Huh. Interesting. That's higher than normal, right? Isn't normal normally 3? Anyways, that's okay because we're not going to Thaumaturgy 3 for Soulslay. I thought we were going to be picking it up just as an aside, and that would be nice, but that's okay. Maybe it's always been 5. I don't remember. I don't play enough Astral Nations to focus on it anyways. Regardless, the main reason we're going for Thaumaturgy 3 is Iron Will, right? So being able to start up a battle and all of our Wuyas, our god, etc. Pop an Iron Will. Iron Will is +4, right? And that is going to be very, very necessary to keep them from being soul slayed instantly in battles. Ultimately, right, we would probably eventually want things like amulets of anti-magic and Iron Will to be really sure. That would take our Wuyas up to like 26 magic resistance. Which is pretty good. Still not unbeatable. We've seen that before, right? But pretty good, you know? And our god, if we could get our god with an amulet of anti-magic and Iron Will, he should do pretty good as well. Alright, anyways, that's going to be it for the turn. Super long turn, talking about a whole lot of things. This is probably my favorite time in the game, is these early to mid-game wars, where this is where you live or die in a Dominions game. If you make it to like turn 60, 70, 80, then you're probably making it to the end of the game, right? You might be the one that dies at the end of the game, but you're still going to make it to the end of the game, normally, right? If you have an extremely long game, that might not be the case. But these early to mid-game wars are to see who lives through the mid-game and makes it to the end game, and who doesn't. And that's really fun to me. That's the cool time. That's the fun time. We're well behind where I want to be. we're well behind the concept of what I was hoping we would be able to do with our Wuyas at this point. And we're fighting an opponent that I don't know is a very good opponent for us, right? Like, Soul Slay is just a bad option for us. So, honestly, we kind of got, like, shitty combinations. Like, Soul Slay is a bad option for us. Undead is a bad option for us. Undead Ghosts are a bad option for us. I probably just should have attacked Facia very early on in the game. As soon as, like, we noticed that they were going for Bogarus, I probably should have ended my nap with them and attacked Facia. Because that's probably the only decent target that I had in the beginning. But even then, like, I think Facia still has... Like, that's not me saying I could have taken Facia. It's just saying, like, they're a better target for me to be messing with than any of the rest of these people. Regardless, though, we'll see how it goes. Excited to see how these battles turn out. Excited to see how Ablak turns out. I'm excited to see if we win in Ablak. I'm hopeful in Ablak. And fingers crossed that we just do enough damage in Smacia to be an annoyance. Again, if we can get 50, that'd be fucking dope. But... I'm thinking we will get... I'm going to count 33. I think we will kill 33 people. And that is a very shitty ratio. So we'll see. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.